Hi again, folks. How yous all doing? This is a Wrenn Class O8 shunter that was sent to me by a chap called Dave. He said that after it's been running for a bit, it starts to make a screeching sound. So let's give it a run, see if it screeches. Well, I'm not really getting any screeching there, but it's quite noisy and rough sounding in reverse. And going forwards, it's quite smooth and quiet, but there is a very slight sort of grinding sound. I think it's just a lubrication issue. It's pulling about 300 milliamps, which is absolutely fine. So yeah, I don't think there's much wrong with this. Maybe just needs a very light service. Let's back it into the shed and we'll have a closer look at it. Okay, let's get a look at this Wrenn O8 shunter. I've looked at quite a few O8 shunters. I've only looked at one double one, I think, before. I've never looked at a Wrenn one before. I've looked at a double one, so it's going to be much the same. But yeah, I don't think there's much wrong with this. Just get a look at the outside. It's all in pretty good condition. The steps are a wee bit. That's maybe just popped out the bottom there. Yeah, it all looks okay. Yeah, it doesn't look too dry. A little bit of fluffage. But as I was saying in my last video, if a model's running okay, no real problems, you're best to leave it well alone, especially these old Dublo and Wrenn models, because they can be extremely temperamental. And if you start messing with them, if they're running okay and you start messing with them, taking them apart, put them back together, it might not run as well again, or it might start making a funny noise or whatever. So going forwards, this runs absolutely fine. I could maybe hear a little bit of a grinding sound building up as it was warming up. I don't know how many times I'd have to run it around the track to get it to start screeching. But in reverse, it was quite rough and grindy sounding. So yeah, I think the bearings need a bit of lubrication. Right, okay, we'll open it up and have a wee look at it. But I'm only going to take this apart as far as it needs to be taken apart because it's otherwise running okay. But we'll see what state it's in. It might be a right manky old mess, in which case we'll need to do a strip down and a clean, but I don't think so, somehow. Off that comes. Put it to one side. Put the screw in there as well. And let's have a look. What have we got? It all looks okay. Yeah, so that looks kind of dry in there. So you can put oil in there to oil that top bearing. The brushes seem to be okay. Just see the commutator in there, and it actually looks okay. So I'm kind of loath to remove the brushes, but I think I'm going to, just so I can get a look at the condition of them and maybe get a better look at the commutator. There's maybe a bit of oil in the brushes actually. Yeah, they are a bit dirty and oily. Sometimes having oily brushes actually does make the model a bit quieter, but you really don't want oil in your brushes. Yeah, they're a bit manky. So I think we will do a wee bit more of a service on this than I thought I was going to actually. So it's a Ringfield motor. We've got 4 screws here that we undo, and this will lift off, and we can lift the armature out. Right, okay, that's now come off. And it is a bit gunky in there. I can see the ball bearing. And yeah, that bearing is dry. So the top bearing hasn't been lubricated. That should now lift out like so. Commutator's not too bad. I'm just trying to see what's down in here. It's a wee bit manky. Could do with a clean out. So we'll give all that a bit of a scoosh out. Just actually spotted something. Yeah, there's some little bits of brass. Let's check this drive gear. So I think there's been a bit of wear going on in the gears. Right, we will give this a good scoosh out. Wow, it is very dirty. Look at that. I think I will remove this magnet actually, just so I'm getting to clean this. Right, I'm going to let that evaporate off, but you can see how much dirt came out of there. So this is very much in need of a service. These a good clean out, and I'll let that dry off. Ball bearing is in there, that looks okay. We'll give the worm a bit of a clean. Just give it a squish. It's otherwise okie dokie. And we'll clean the commutator. Give it a wee squish. Just clean out the slots. There we go. Give that a clean. Give it a squish. It's the bearing, ball bearing just popped out. That's fine. It's nice and clean in there now. So we will get some grease in there and pop the ball bearing back in. So I'm pretty sure if this was screeching, it's just been the a lack of lubrication in the bearings. Right, it's evaporated off a bit now. We'll get some lubrication in that bottom bearing, which is easier said than done. I think I'll just lift this pickup out, just get a look at the axles. Yeah, there's some little bits of brass and little bits of metal here and there. It's not going to help matters. I'll give the axles a scoosh. It's nice to see one of these that isn't split. Right, I'm going to let this sit for a wee bit just to let all that contact cleaner evaporate off. I'm going to go and get a cup of tea, maybe a wee biscuit, and then we'll come back and put this together. I need to clean the brushes, so I think I'll stick them in the sonic cleaner actually. That's what I'll do. And I think this will be okay, just get some lubrication into the bearings. I think it'll be fine. But we'll need to see if we can get it running nicely in both directions rather than just the one direction. Okie dokie then. The contact cleaner has evaporated off. I need to do a wee bit of defluffing because I think this has seen a carpet or two. I made a bit of a schoolboy error and I didn't make a note of which way the magnet went. But it goes one way or the other, so if I get it right, I get it right. If I get it wrong, I just have to take it out and swap it over. So I'm not too worried about that, but we have got a little bit of fluffage to get rid of here. Nothing serious. Just what happens with models over the years when they get run on carpets or dusty places. Right, okay, we'll get some fresh oil into the axles. Okie dokie, we'll get this pickup back in place. There we go, that's the pickup back in place. It's making contact with the wheel there, and with that wheel there. We'll pop the armature down. We'll get some grease on the worm gear though. This is a mixture of gear oil and white lithium grease. It's fine. Get that down in there into the bottom bearing. It's north that way. I'm going to say it's that way. I might have to do this again. Now, I need to fit this on and engage that bearing with the top of the armature. What I like to do is screw the bearing in first and screw it all the way down, and then it's easier to engage with the armature and then back it off into position. So we screw that right in, and then it's usually easier to engage with the armature. You can usually see what you're doing. I think that's done it. And then back it off. Okay, so that's screwed on. We'll fit the brushes. There's not much wear on the end of the brushes, but we'll try and fit them so the wear fits the commutator. Get the curve the right way around. Something like that. There. Right. Screw this nut on. Just loosely just now. Okay, how much play have we got on this armature? It's not bad. So we'll tighten the nut at that and see how it goes. We'll give it a wee run in the test track, but the rolling road is actually good for adjusting the bearing. But right, we're back together. Let's put it on the test track, see what happens. Have I got the magnet the right way around? Right, should go this way. Yes. It's running fine. Now, what about reverse? It's still a wee bit louder. It's just rougher that way. It's maybe just the way the gears have worn over the years. It's maybe not much can do about it. Okay, so I've got this on the rolling road. Let's just turn on the power. There's a wee bit of a wobble in the front axle, but there's probably not much can do about that. Probably did it when it was new. Well, let's try it the other way. And we'll see if adjusting this bearing makes any difference. I think that's a little better. I mean, it's okay. Let's get the body on it and see what it sounds like on the test track. So it runs really nicely in that direction. But in reverse, it's still a bit grindy. So it's only about 300 milliamps, which is what it was doing before. A wee bit better in reverse. And there we go. I don't think there's much else I can do with this. I've given it a clean. I've lubricated the bearings with moly grease and oil. The main bearing and the worm gear I've lubricated. Maybe try getting a wee spot more gear oil on it actually. But I think the noise in reverse, looking at the drive gear, I think what's happened is over the years, you know, the gears have meshed for running forwards, and when you run it backwards, the gears are, you know, grating on each other a wee bit. I think you would have to give this a really good running in reverse over a good period of time, I think, to get it to quieten down. But it runs okay, and so long as it doesn't screech, it should be fine. I don't see any reason why it should screech. So I couldn't get this to screech when I test ran it to begin with, but Dave did say it was screeching when you ran it for a few minutes. I ran it for about 5 minutes on the test track, and it didn't screech, but I could hear there was something. There was a sort of a metal on metal noise, and I don't hear it now that I've stripped it, cleaned it, and re-lubricated everything. So I think this will be okay. Okay, let's pull it out the shed. I've decided that shunters get shorter running sessions, but there we are. That's Dave's Wrenn 08 shunter serviced. I don't think it'll screech anymore. I think the reason for the screeching was probably the bearings needing lubricated, but you know, I never heard it screech. The drive gear on this could really do with being replaced, as it suffered a bit of wear judging by all the wee bits of brass I could see in the mechanism. But it runs okay, even if it is a bit grindy in reverse, but I don't think it's as bad as it was. As I always say with these old models, you can't expect them to perform with anything like the efficiency of a modern model. Replacing the drive gear isn't easy on these old Wrenn and 0008s due to the cranks on the ends of the axles. I really don't fancy removing and refitting the wheels and axles on this, so as long as it runs, we'll leave it alone. Okay folks, I shall get this packed up and sent back to Dave, and I'll catch you later.